excited. Eric, you've been somebody that I've looked up to since day one. We probably had you on our team call 2 years ago, so it's been some time.
Yeah.
And the entire time, you've still been crushing it. You're somebody that whenever I ask, like, hey, who is crushing it in personal sales still? Who is still excited about the opportunity? Who has, been here a long time and never lost that fire for helping brand new agents? And it's always Eric Schmidt. So I'm obviously really familiar with you. I'm excited to have you on, but we have a lot of new people on here. If you could kind of just give like your quick backstory. I know you're like an OG with FFL.
Yeah, so real quick, because I do have a daughter pickup at dance tonight. I'm on East Coast. So yeah, so I'm 52. I've been married 27 years almost. We have a 19-year-old son, 15-year-old daughter, 13-year-old daughter. I was in the car business for 23 years and was, pretty much deteriorating health-wise, relationship-wise, dad-wise. And I needed to find something, Maurice, and you know my story better than anyone else. I needed to find something where I could control my own schedule, but I was making 275 grand a year W-2, and you just can't, drop out. I mean, I didn't have like 275,000 in the bank. I spent it all like everyone does in America. And I needed to be able to slide, laterally, minimally financial wise, but I needed all my time back. I needed the 168 hours a week to spend the way I wanted to spend it. And I first, found independent life insurance agency contract work in 2008. Just wasn't the right time. Fast forward another 10 years, and I went full time in April of 19.
Wow, huge. So Eric, I know we're gonna keep this quick. So you're still selling. And when I say still selling, I'm not talking about 10 families, right? You've been here quite some time. I'm talking about 30, 40, 50 every single month. You're recruiting, you're helping new agents. Can you talk to us about what you're doing from a sales process standpoint? Like your leads, what are you running? What would you tell a brand new agent to do if they were starting today?
Yeah, so super competitive. Most people that do very well in this are very competitive. Leaderboards are so more spread out now in the company than they were 5 years ago, where Sean would sit in Uncasville and just kind of read them. Now it's obviously, we have 30,000 agents, but I've done just under 220,000 for the year. The agency's done a little bit over 5 million for the year. So, on a good trajectory, but like I grew up playing football. I went to University of Connecticut, I played football. Sean makes fun of them. They suck, but that's where I went. That's where I got my education. But, I always like to be involved. I want to be in the huddle. I want to be in the play. I don't want to just be on the sideline with the headset on and, coach. And I want my hand in the dirt. I want to be involved. And with so many moving pieces in this all the time, Marisa, when it comes to, you talk about IULs and you talk about, different languages and being, running different teams and, all the different carriers that we have and everything's, all these different trainings. So I just couldn't imagine me stepping like way back and not being involved in this every single day because, if Haley calls me or Chance calls me and they have a question about something, I'm like, I don't know, you got to call Kobe or got to call Ryan. I mean, how am I going to know what's going on? So I need to know what's going on with the leads. I knew that they need to know what's going on with the ILC. I'm involved with Integrity, as you said, a few times, which I'm blessed to be a part of that amazing team. And I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's going on with Ascendo and Landmark and why we can't get people on the phone and what Steve's trying to do over at Transamerica and bringing us an instant decision. Like I need to know what's going on with all these things real time and not be like, oh, I didn't hear about it. Like I can't be the dope on the sideline figuring it out. That's never been me. It's never will be me. Even then I'm up at 3:50, I'm at the gym at 4:25, so AM that is. So I mean, I that's where I like to be. So I like to be in that spot, and I can't imagine not being in another spot. So
yeah, I love that. And as far as your sales, do you run mortgage protection? What's your lead flow?
So I do all final expense. It's like only if I trip over an IUL, I trip over an IUL, but I'm not very comfortable with it. I can get around the National Life Group website now. I can do illustrations, but I'm still not good on, the discovery call and then the next call. Like it's one call close, final expense, 50 years old, 60 years old, 70 years old plus, using the the Ascendo app first, because it's the easiest for me. Americo, then, NLG or AIG if we have to move over, or Wellaby, in a rare case. But yeah, it's pretty much all final expense, 90% plus final expense.
I love that. And Eric, I love that you said that because that's where it started. That's where we've been. And as amazing as IUL's mortgage protection, we love all that. sometimes people get in their head, I think about like, oh, now that we have all these things, that makes final expense not good, right? Or that makes final expense hard. We should all just jump to mortgage, IULs, this and this and that. How do you combat, that mindset on your team?
Unless you're coming in with some special set of financial knowledge, skills, or like I came in, like I sold cars, there's people that do other things, or people come from hospitality and different other sets, right? But like it's whole life, like you buy it now and you stop paying when you die. And then when you die, 10 days later, the beneficiary gets a check, so like you look at the number, 11 agent in the whole entire company. Madison Pimentel does only final expense. Hit Hall of Fame this week, 403,000. Wow. That's all he does, and that's it. I mean, he doesn't leave his house. All telesales. He takes advantage of all the time zones. We all work, east to west, so we take advantage of all the time zones there. He spends, he probably spends 10, 15,000 a month, but he deposits over 75,000 a month. So. But I think it's the easiest product to train on, the easiest product to know. Now with things like insurance toolkits and underwriting genie, I mean, when I started, there was none of those. We had, I still have them here for nostalgia, but we had grids and spreadsheets, and we had to be like, okay, no COPD. Oh, we got to do a paper app with Transamerica. This is a much different place than it was, just a short 4 or 5 years ago. So it's the easiest product to know. And it allows you to move through the progression of asking, do you have anything that acts like life insurance, like a 401k, a TSP, a 403b, significant savings account? You can ask those questions and then, talk to SRS and get help. If someone says, well, I saw this thing about being my own bank, or I saw this thing about leveraging retirement, or I keep seeing this thing pop up on Instagram. What's that about? Perfect. Let's get more information. But let's handle your first challenge now, which is, if you pass away today, Mrs. or Mr. is going to be in a position financially that they can't handle, And, my first 2 years, I did 70,000 miles in my car, windshield time. And, so doing this is a much better fit for me. And with where interest rates are and product availability, as far as the real estate world is concerned, and how much it costs to obtain a mortgage protection lead, and how many, you guys, I'm sure, friends with a lot of realtors. There might be a lot of realtors on here, but when someone refinances, like we were talking to Josh and Alondra and Neen and Hayden, and they were getting tons of, solicitations at their house. They were filling them out to try to recruit people, but they, so I just think the final expense is such an easy way to go. And I think, I'm sure a lot of you guys were on the call this morning with Jay, and how he's doing 75-cent leads and everyone's buying 100 and it's $700, and you sell one and you move forward. And, I think it's a good way to kind of, get kicked in the teeth a little bit, which is going to happen to all of us when we start dialing in. And where's my script? My script's right here. I follow my script. I refuse to print out another one. It's all beat up, but I refuse to print it out another one, because this is like my lucky one. It's all crinkled and stuff, but this is the one I always use.
Yeah, which is so crazy. I love that so much too, right? Because it's like, you don't have this big ego of like, hey, I've been here for, 5, 6 years now. Like, I got my script right here. I read what's on the script. Like, it's not any more complicated than that. I love that. And Eric, so you're building a big team. You obviously sold at a high level, so you didn't necessarily need to build a big team. Why do you think that this is still, the best opportunity for people to do?
I just don't see, like, there's other entrepreneurial opportunities. There's solar. I have friends that do that. I don't have any friends that do pest control. It seems kind of seasonal, it's kind of have to go where the bugs are, type of deal. I just don't know of another opportunity that allows this type of income. Like the car business was good for a minute when they were selling everything for $20,000, $30,000 over a sticker, but now those people are sucking wind, and they're working holidays and they're working 70 hours a week like I did in the showroom. I just don't know anything else out there that's like this. And then so you take all the spaces that are out there, right, Marisa? And then now it's going to be insurance, right? Why Family First Life? There's so many opportunities. Like, where is anything so open like this, where anyone can join in, anyone can jump on, anyone can ask anybody for anything? You texted me, I'm like, absolutely, I'm in. Like, I've never said no to anything, Marisa. and that's one thing that I probably haven't talked about in a minute. Maybe I talked about 2 years ago, but I always wanted to be in a position of yes. So whether that's getting on a call, getting on a plane, getting into a lead campaign, being part of a beta program, saying yes to $10,000 in leads because they were 25% off, and I just wanted to, buy some volume. Like I always wanted to be in a position of yes, and you can't be in a position of yes whether you're an integrity partner or someone that's been here 90 days if you're not, putting the time in and producing at a high level. It's just impossible. And I never wanted to say no to the wrong thing. Because what if I said no to, calling Freddie, who found us on Andrew's TikTok, worked for TD Bank up in Boston. He found Madison. Those guys do 200K combined, just those two. And now they're building a massive team of other 25 years old, So like, I never wanted to be able to say no to anything. And that takes courage, because I'm the only income producer in my household. We like nice things, and we like to go nice places, and we don't like to look at menu prices. And that takes a lot of effort, but when you can be selective with the 168 hours in a week that you get, and it's properly inventoried, and you can take advantage of those time slots, then it gives you those opportunities.
Yeah, that's huge. Eric, Diego asked, what hours do you dedicate to your personal production, and how do you know when to put time into your agency and new agents? I think that's $1 million question.
Yeah. And again, you guys here, my schedule, so I'm up at 3:50. I'm at the gym at 4:30. I'm bringing my daughter to Catholic high school at 6:30. I drive her, I come back, I get my other one to 7th grade. I go home and shower, and then I'm here in the office at 8. And I'm usually calling fresh leads, right, that came over the last 24 hours. I'm calling them depending on the time zone. I do take advantage of the time zone. I'm licensed in 45 states. So, I don't, so I get a pretty good even California, Colorado, Nevada, and then, moving east. And then I call recruiting leads no matter what time it is. I don't care what time it is, because if they're going to work with me, they're going to have to be available. Now, I'm not going to be rude to call someone at 2 a.m., but I'm going to call a recruiting lead whenever. I'm always going to call and text. It's something new that I'm using. Have you heard of this Blink thing, Marisa?
No, I don't think so. I'd like to hear about it though.
I'm going to send this thing to you real quick. It's I found it the other day. I'll share it with you, and then you can put it in a group if you want. Here, MAR. I'm taking time away. I apologize, but I saw this thing. It's a free business card. It's pretty cool. And so I've been using that with a lot of people. But so that's really so. Just I don't want to miss a question, Diego. So I'm not as structured. When I was, Jay's half my age, but I was listening to him, like, I know he's a little bit all over the place, and so am I. But like when leads come in, I'm calling right away. So there's a lot of competition. There's competition on people that are looking for insurance. There's competition on people that are looking to help people with life insurance. And no disrespect to Marisa or Clay, like if someone's inquiring, they're probably inquiring other places. So I want to get on and tell them about my story. And if we have a good connection, I want to have a good connection with them and give them the opportunity. But I'm definitely not looking to recruit and work with everybody. I want to talk with everyone. I want to see what their story is. And I had this little piece of not magic, but this little question that I ask in my recruiting. So don't let me forget to share that with you guys before we hang up.
The piece of magic. I love that. And Eric, I know you, something that everyone can relate to no matter what stage of the business they're in is that we all have not good days sometimes. We have days where we don't make a sale. We have days where we dial and it doesn't go our way, or we stand in our own way. And sometimes that can be phases, right? I've had like, 2 or 3 days where I just get killed or whatever it is. And I think a lot of times, sometimes people just keep going, and sometimes people let that get the best of them. What is, kind of your mindset? Like, how do you keep continuing to go when you need to go, when you have, the not so great days?
Yeah, I've always said you really got to, I talk about this in my recruiting calls. Like, you can't let yourself get too emotionally high, and you can't let yourself get too emotionally low. Like, if you have this gigantic day, a 10K day or 20K day or 30K day, and you're helping all these families, and you're just like, man, and then bad stuff happens. Or if you get you're too low. So like, and and this was said a long time ago, like the best time to call someone about this opportunity is when you just helped another family, right? Because then you're amped up. And the next best time to call to sell, help someone, to talk about this opportunity is when you have to resell yourself. So when you invited me on today, Marisa, I'm like, sometimes the meeting needs you and sometimes you need the meeting. So I think I needed this more than maybe you all needed me today, with all due respect. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm going to get on there. I'm going to see. I mean, obviously I recognize some names on here and see some faces, but like I needed this just as much as maybe, probably more than you guys needed me today. So I was super excited to be invited, and just always excited about the opportunity. And now by doing this and helping, literally thousands and thousands of families, that I've been a part of, and seeing, like, log on one day and type in death claim, if you're sitting, so if your agent isn't huge, hey, Marisa, would you pull up your AMM and just put in death claims? And like, man, without us, that would not have happened. So if you ever need a little bit of a reality check, look up death claims on AMM or Mutual or America or any of these carriers, because without us, those lives would have been never helped, for the good days ahead, like Brian says. So it's a special opportunity that we have to be able to help families, in so many different ways.
Yeah, I love that. And it really is, right? And I know, like Sean always says this too, and you've heard this, Eric. It's like, oh, you're at your house and your air conditioner making phone calls and you're having a bad day. And then you're like, shoot, like, you're like, you got me, right? Like I almost let myself get
Have some respect for yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. And I love that. Well, Eric, you have to run out in the next couple of minutes, right?
Yeah, I got like 10 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So brand new agent comes in, and what is like the actual recipe that you're telling them? Like, hey, you need to get this many leads. Is it a lead spend, or is it a get on live dials? Is it a show up to the office? Like if someone's like, hey, this is all great, but I need to know exactly what to do tomorrow when I wake up, what is that recipe for you?
So if they're licensed, Marisa, if they're already licensed and they're going to be working with Nadia, who you've met, and going through the contracting phase in the back office, they need to get on, like we go to justhustling.com or we go to FFL home office, or, one of these, like you have to watch people do it. And whether they're like, Joe Cool and they've been doing it forever with Farmers or State Farm or whatever, like it's different. It's different how we do things. It's different how we talk. It's different how we have control, but we're not controlling. It's different how our voice inflection, our tone is, the things we say, the things we don't say. We give yes options. We don't ask open-ended questions unless we already know the answers. Like it's different how we do these things, right? So I think people have to hear that. They have to do some role playing. We use Stephen Yee's FFL Academy, to get as a boot camp, along with the FFL boot camp. But I think letting people talk and and they're like, oh, I got it. Okay, let's do it. And they're like, ring, ring. Hey, Marisa. Hey, how you doing? Like, you can't say that. It doesn't matter how they're doing. Like, that's not why we're calling. We're calling to confirm some information that's non-public and then move on to the next thing. So I think with licensed agents, we have to hear how they're going to be reacting on the phones right away. If they're not licensed, it's 7 days. You got 7 days to get through the licensing course. You're not paying anything for it. I'm paying for it. I don't bring everyone in because it costs $199. So, it's obviously not coming out of my personal pocket, but that's what we pay, whatever FFL's contracted, to do it. But, and I'm like, and just to let you know, at 3:15-ish Eastern, I see how many chapters you did yesterday. I know how much, what percentage you're at. I'm watching. I am stalking your progress through the course. And if you're not progressing through the course, then we're not going to have a relationship. I let them know that anyone that goes through all 3 sections, because sometimes people get through the first 11 chapters and they quit. And I'm like, dude, you still got the exam prep and the exam simulator. You're 100% going to fail if you don't finish those. And there are 150, 200 question, exam preps and exam simulator. I was like, you have to complete those. And you have to get your computer ready. You have to have the right Microsoft security software on there. You're not going to be able to take it online. Like, this is a real thing. And I remember Eric Anthony telling me in the very beginning, like, these are some of the things that we put in there that are hurdles. So if you can't figure out how to enroll for the course, it's probably not the right thing for you. They're like built in, like whatever the right words are, mouse traps or whatever the words are. Oh, you can't, you don't know how to sign into the course. Not the right thing for you, So and again, as soon as they pass the exam, while they're waiting for their fingerprints, contracting, whatever's going on, license coming in, some states are slow, like North Carolina is super slow, California is slow. There's some states that are crazy slow. You have to get on the phones. The quicker they can get those jitters on the phones, the better. And then you can just see it when it starts to click from like, hey, I think I got it. I think, well, don't get cocky when you're full of crap. Let's just slow down a little bit. You don't got it yet, but let's start going through it. Let's use the tools. Let's have, let's treat this like a real business, because hobbies don't pay at all. So hopefully that answers a little bit of your question.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are you recommending for, well, first let me ask you, Eric, when you came into the business, you had never had to buy anything. You didn't have to buy leads. And a lot of people
No. W-2, yeah.
come from a place where they don't have to buy leads. How do you have that conversation, and like, what's your mindset around leads?
Yeah, well, we definitely talk about it in the beginning, because I'm like, guys, let's, I said, so like at the end of Steven's video, it says, are you an A, a B, or a C, right? And they're like, well, I'm a B, perfect. And what are your questions? And if they don't ask me about leads, and they don't ask me about chargebacks, then we're talking about leads and we're talking about chargebacks. Because Sean said it on a call the other day. It might have been on his Friday call. If you guys aren't on that, you should put that link on here, Marisa, because that Friday call is 100% fire. To have that kind of access to Sean for $10 a month is $9.97 is ridiculous. But $30 million or whatever, 30% of 700 million. I mean, that's what fell off the books at Family First Life Corp. So business is going to fall off the books. So we talk about chargebacks, we talk about lead costs. If someone doesn't have $600, $700, $800 set aside, okay, to start their own business, this probably isn't the right time for them to do this, because they're going to need 144 for, they're going to need 50 for a license. They're going to need 50 for an exam. If they don't have a computer or, an AirPod or, what, I mean, so it might, and it's okay. If it's not the right time, it's not the right time. Obviously, what it looked like on Indeed or on Instagram looked real exotic and sexy and fun, and I can do this, but let's talk about the realities that, yes, we're in air conditioning. We're not roofing houses, okay? But this is a mentally exhausting thing. And you think you're going to do this for 30, 40 hours a week and have success, you're just not going to do it. And maybe that sucks, but it is what it is. Do you have to do it forever? No, I don't have any hobbies, unfortunately, Marisa. I don't play golf. I don't boat. I don't jet ski. I don't fish. I don't do anything. I'm a dad. I coach girls volunteer basketball for my little kids. But so this is what I do, so but I think, really inventorying your time and understanding that, and I like how Jay said it this morning. I'll say it again, buy those bronze leads. That's 100 of them for $700, grind it out, make the phone calls, make 1 or 2 sales, get your money back, and then upgrade from there. I still use Phone Burner. I use it all the time. I love Phone Burner. I think Phone Burner is part of, I think it's in that, in Play and Enroll, or I think it's something with Integrity. I think it's built into the ILC now. I think they just announced that, right? Yeah. Desiree, did they? Yeah. So I love Phone Burner. I use it all the time. I upload dozens and dozens of leads in there and dial. I think you just have to use all the tools, and but not your lead flow is 100% connected to your cash flow. And if I hear someone, well, I'll buy 100, then I'll buy 100. I said, it's not the right time. It's just not the right time for you. Stick what you're doing. So here's what I say to people. I'm not wrapping up because I'm going to continue to answer questions until we hit the bell. But I ask people now on, and you can paraphrase this and change. You guys may have seen this on social media, but a question that I ask now is, hey, Marisa, in 60 days, if you're no longer here, because this just wasn't the right fit for you, you quit or whatever, why do you think that would be?
Ooh.
So make up an answer.
I would say I'm really busy. I don't know about this, if I could figure out the schedule.
Perfect. So I'd suggest for you not to start then. This isn't the right time. Now if someone says, well, I'm just, a complete idiot, or I didn't take it seriously, or, but I mean, I put it right on them. So in 60 days, if you're no longer here, CC, why would you think that would be? And they would just give me an answer, and it's usually because they didn't treat it seriously, or they didn't ask for help, or their ego was too big, or they didn't believe me when they had to buy leads, or they didn't think that I was going to have to do this for all this. Yeah, right. Desiree, challenge them, right? So that's asking that question really is like a great filter at the end. And and again, sometimes I don't even have to ask that question. I talked to a woman today, and it's always a bad start when she says, "Well, who's calling?" I'm like, "Oh boy, she's avoiding somebody," And I'm like, "Well, this is Eric Schmidt from Family First Life in Connecticut, getting back to you." And I said, "Well, what are you doing now?" And she's like, "Well, I'm in customer service." I said, "Oh, that's awesome, great fit for this. Who are you doing that with?" Click. I'm like, "Oh, that was easy," So we put them in the garbage pile and we just move on to the next one. But I love asking that question now. I heard it was nothing that was related to what we do, Marisa, but I love that question, and I'm probably screwing it up, how I'm saying it, so you can use it any way you want. But in 60 days, if you're no longer here, why do you think that would be?
Right. And I think that's cool too, Eric, because it's not necessarily like, you can't look at it like a negative thing, right? Like you said, you found insurance and it wasn't the right time. And then later on it was, right? So
Yeah.
the reality is too, like I feel like if you can have that accountability to say, hey, maybe not right now, doesn't mean no forever. It just means no right now. And I've seen
Mm-hmm.
that, right? We see that all the time. Producers come and they're like, something goes crazy. They're not here anymore, whatever happens. And then all of a sudden they come back the next year and they're like top producer. So the reality is, like, I don't want anyone to, like, it's not a negative thing to say, here's the reality of, like, timing in your life is for real. And if now is not a good time for you to buy leads and get on the phone and be on live dials and actually work this thing like you mean it, that's okay. We still love you, but it's not the right time. And I think that's really important. Eric, I have a question. I think this is one that I don't ask very often, but I think it's an interesting one. As you've been here, you built your business, you went through the ups and downs. What's something that you would say that, like, has changed about you personally, or what's like a lesson that you've learned in the business that you're just like grateful for?
Just just trying to meet people where they're at and know that there's going to be difficult days. I mean, and again, Marisa, you and I know each other better than anyone on this phone call. You probably are really close to some people on here, but I don't, I recognize some names. But there's some really tough days that we have in this business, and some deflating days and days that kind of like get blindsided, kind of like on your Survivor, like, "Oh, I didn't see that coming. What the hell? Where did that come from?" But I think just like, I mean, it's just whatever it says here. I don't know which way to walk, but work hard, stay humble. Just work hard, stay humble. Put the light on somebody else. Like, all I'm thinking is, just when these six all ladies, right? These are all ladies that you announced this morning, this afternoon. Lois, Desiree, Deena, Digna, Afreza, and Ida. I mean, they all did. I mean, so I just like shining light on other people. Like, when I was just talking to Ivan, and I was talking about Arij and Simon. They're both over 900K for the year. Liking people's stuff on social media. I'm always liking your stuff, and everyone that I see. I just want to keep pushing all that on there, and because I just love to see everyone have success. And this is such a tough thing, so it's nice to have some success. I do want to mention this a little bit off topic, but this is Legacy Safeguard. Are you guys doing this in your agency? Yeah, Marisa?
We need to be better at it. We know what it is, but I don't think a lot
Yeah.
of us are doing it like we should.
So these are the little plastic cards that the clients get in the mail once they get enrolled. But if you haven't been to Legacy Safeguard University.com, I would definitely go there, sign up, check it out. I got my VP bonus report card the other day, Marisa, and our agency persistency is just under 89%.
Wow.
And I'm not saying it's because of this, right? But this is definitely going to get it, keep it where it's at, okay, or increase it, okay. It's a great value add. There's other people with 3 letters that we, allegedly compete with that have different types of products like this. So to talk about Legacy Safeguard and what it provides for our clients, no matter who they are, doesn't matter if they're 18 getting an Americo IOL for 450K, or they're 89 and getting their last Ascendo policy, it doesn't make a difference. So I would definitely look at that Legacy Safeguard. I think it's a great value add. I actually don't do it at the time of sale. I do it on a follow-up phone call 2, 3, 4 days later to kind of re-cement the deal, reintroduce myself, make sure they have everything, blah, blah, blah. So if you guys aren't using that, check out Legacy Safeguard University. I think it's a great value add, and it doesn't cost us anything. It doesn't cost the client anything. It gets them these little plastic cards. Old people love to put these things in their wallets, in their bags, in their purses, on their refrigerator, give it to their kids, whoever the beneficiary is, has their name on it, has my name on it, has my phone number on it. So I love that as a value add there.
Yeah, that's huge. We definitely need to make a bigger push, and we'll check it out.
And it's so easy. It's so easy. I mean, like if you're talking about, immediate coverage, level death benefit, level premium, tax-free, double accidental, all like the things, it's a whole life policy. It's never going to last. And we have Legacy Safeguard. And what it's going to do is boom, 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 boom. What if you die out of state? What if someone doesn't know the funeral homes, where you pass away? How are you going to do bereavement travel? All these type of things that it takes care of it. And when you're adding that all out, value sells, price doesn't. So it's a much better option.
Wow, that's huge. Value sells. I'm writing it down. Price doesn't. I love that. Well, Eric, thank you so much for joining us with us tonight. You've been phenomenal. I've always looked up to you. You just keep getting better and better. I know you have to run off to pick up your daughter, so I can kind of close us out. But again, we're just honored to have you with us tonight and just excited to get a couple minutes of your time.
No, I appreciate you guys, and anything that I can do for you guys, you can hit me up on Instagram, LinkedIn. Check out that business card thing, Marisa. If you think it's a value add, you should share it with your company.
Oh, I will. I'll put it in all of our group chats.
Yeah, well, check it out. It's 100% free, and it's super easy to share, and I like it. And it's something new. The cost is right. It doesn't take away from my net income, my EBITDA. So
exactly.
It's all good.
Free 99. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Eric, and we really appreciate you.
No problem. And congratulations to these young ladies.
I know
amazing.
The ladies are killing it.
Just amazing. Come on, Ryan, Cody, Alan, Diego, TJ. Let's go.
The guys got to step it up. They got to step it up. Let's
go. Hey, have an amazing conference out at Vegas. Okay, at the Red Rock. I wish I was going to be there, but I'm unable to attend. But I'll see you guys on January 29th, right?
For convention.
January 29th, a week earlier. All right, guys.
We can't
love
wait.
You.
Thanks so much, Eric. We love you back.
You guys. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, I'm going to close this out really quick. I know some people already jumped off and we're going to get back to the phones, but what I think is so important and why I always love to have Eric on, and I think sometimes people get on these calls with a little bit of a false idea that he's going to give you some magic phone script. He's going to give you some magic thing that he sends to the client to get their banking information. He's going to give you some, magic thing to make it so you have more money for leads or you feel more comfortable to buy them. And the reality is, you guys, what I want you to get out of this call and what's so important to see from him is that anything that any of you that aren't meeting your goals, and sometimes I'm not meeting my goals, so we all go through that, is just one of your limiting beliefs, right? So when you look at like somebody like Eric, he's been here 5-6 years, right? He's been here from when FFL was still doing paper applications. And actually, I think it's probably closer to 7 or 8 years because I think the company's been around 10 years now. So from when they were still doing paper applications, so they didn't even have a quarter of the carriers that we have, right? They didn't sell IULs. They didn't have a quarter of the lead opportunity that we have, the lead vendors that we have, right? And all these different things. Social media wasn't as big back then. Now we have the opportunity to go out and recruit and share everything we're doing and get clients, right? There's a lot of people on this call who at this point, they don't even buy leads because they're just so big on social media and do so well. And the point is, guys, I want you to look at someone like Eric and realize like he's been here all these time. He's still selling 30, 40, 50, 60 grand a month. A lot of managers don't do that, right? They've been here a long time and they're looking like, hey, when can I get out of this? Right? The other thing too is some of you guys are scared to take a risk on 60 grand. You make 60 grand, you make, 20 grand part-time. Like he left a job of $270,000 a year supporting his family because he saw the opportunity at FFL to be better for him, his family, his health, where he could, control his own time, right? So the reality is like, you can think whatever you want to think. You can think, oh, it's IULs. You can think, oh, Nicole does so good because she does mortgage. You can think, oh, Desiree does so good because she doesn't have any kids. You can think, oh, this person has more money for leads. The reality is, just like you said, Jay Maska's team, he has a bunch of people coming in, they buy 75-cent leads. That's what Dominic and his squad do. right? Eric has 3 kids, right? He sells only final expense. He doesn't even do IULs. I didn't even expect him to say that. He does not. He's been here all this time. He still only sells final expense. There's a lot of people on this call that would tell me, oh, final expense sucks. The clients are this, the clients are broke, the clients are that. This doesn't happen. They didn't answer the phone. We had a wrong number, like blah, 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 blah. And the reality is, guys, with the opportunity that we have here, any excuse or reason in your life for why you can't do it, there's somebody out there that's absolutely crushing it with that exact same situation or worse. Right? It's not about mortgage protection. It's not about IULs. It's not about, oh, I need a better lead source. It's not about Desiree does this. It's not about, oh, I have kids and this person doesn't have kids. It's not about, oh, this person has more carriers. It's not about, oh, this person has this. The reality is, if you want to, you will. Right? And after all these years, guys, a huge takeaway from that is like, after all these years of him doing it, he still is like, here's my script right here. He held it up. He's like, here's my script. I don't want to print a new one. So even too, we let our ego get the best of us and we're like, hey, we've done this a lot. I've sold a lot of policies. I'm already really good. I don't need the script. Like Eric's been here 7, 8 years, I would assume at this point, and he's still using the script. It's not any more complicated than that, you guys. It doesn't matter what kind of leads you have. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what your background is. Like the reality is you just get the leads, you get the script, you role play it, you show up to live dials and you freaking close people. Like that's it. There's no special sauce, right? Because you can find a person, or if not an entire team of people that are absolutely crushing their goals, making a ton of money, helping a ton of families. They have great persistency. They're doing whatever they can do to absolutely crush it. And it's some sort of excuse that we're making up in our head that they had it easier, right? Something I wish Eric would have talked about this, but I know he had to run. Last year, Eric called me and he's like, hey, Marissa, I have no idea what to do on social media. He's like, I'm so out of my league here. Like, I just am not somebody so it's like, he's willing to do it, right? So the idea that's like, oh, I can't do it because these guys are young and they're killing it on social media. Like Eric's figured it out, right? So the reality is things are always going to be evolving. They're always going to be changing. FFL is going to keep getting better. We're going to keep getting lead vendors. We're going to keep getting carriers. We're going to keep having insane products. If you're going to do mortgage, you're going to do mortgage. If you're going to do final expense, you're going to do final expense. Doesn't mean IULs are bad. Doesn't mean annuities are bad. Nothing is bad, you guys. It's just an idea of make a decision, get your script, get on live dials. And like he said, it's just a schedule. He's just working longer hours than us. He's not doing anything special. So the reality is, guys, I'm super proud of you. We're going to get back on the phones. Otherwise, I'll see you in 2 weeks. But guys, we're on live dials every day. Desiree and Nicole were on there today, closing, dialing. There's a bunch of people. Alicia's hopping on. She's closing, dialing. Like anybody. Diego's on every day. Tyler, Haley. Like I can see the people that I can see on the screen right now. But we have a ton of people on there. Absolutely. Ileana, right? 19K this week. She's on live dials every single day. So the reality is, guys, like you have everything you need to be successful. You just have to get rid of the belief that somebody else has something that you don't have. They don't. They don't have anything that you don't have, and they're not doing anything that you can't go do. And I wouldn't tell you that, guys. I'm a straight shooter. I would tell you, you know what, Des, you suck. I don't think you're going to be any good. Like you should quit. You're not good. Like you're not getting, I would tell you straight up. But that's not the case, guys. I would tell you, don't work at my old job. I would tell you, don't go to that restaurant. It sucks. The food sucks. Like, I'm not saying this to try to just hype everybody up. I'm saying it because it's true. And it's like, even when I go through phases in the business and I see somebody that's like, oh, maybe I had a minute where I thought it sucked for a second. And then I see somebody who like Eric, who's been here 7 years and he's still got the same script printed out. And all he's doing is reading it every single day, calling his clients, final expense leads, same stuff we have access to. And he's at 220 grand for the year. And it's only May. Personally, that's not even his team. So the reality is, guys, no one has a special secret sauce. Let's go out and crush it. I don't care what kind of leads you get, just get some. I don't care what hours you work, just find some. I don't care what it is you got going on in your life. There's time to figure it out and there's a way to make it happen. So I love you guys. I'm proud of you guys. Let me know if you guys need anything. You all have my number and I'll see you guys on live dials tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.